I'm just getting started!
How you guys doing today? It's the True Game Nerd coming again with the Tekken retrospective. Today I'm going to take a look at Tekken Tag Tournament. Tekken Tag Tournament was one of the coolest transitions from an arcade to a console that I've ever seen. And mind you, this is the 10-year-old me saying this. Here's why. For the first time ever, the console version looked better than the arcade. This is something that's pretty average now, but back then, that was crazy. No one could ever fathom a fighting game looking better on a console than an arcade. Now, in fairness to the arcade version was made with the Tekken 3 engine, so the graphics looked more like that of a PlayStation, versus the PlayStation 2 version that had its own design and its own technology, and everything was vastly improved. The game basically takes Tekken 2 characters and Tekken 3 characters and mashes them together with improved graphics. And I'll admit, it's really cool to see some of our favorites from Tekken 2 like Jack 2 and Jun Kazama and Michelle Chang redone in a better texture form. And when I was a kid, I got super excited when I saw this, because to me, while the graphics aren't perfect by today's standard, back then it looked cinematic perfect. I had to have it. I saved every penny I had to get that PlayStation 2. And you know what? I went out and got Tekken Tag, and I was very happy. The first thing we're going to talk about is the graphics. The graphics in this game are some of the best to this day, in my opinion, that I've ever seen on the PlayStation 2. Not only are the textures super clean, but the character models look phenomenal. The amount of detail on them. I mean, you are seeing every model from Tekken 3 and Tekken 2 done to almost absolute perfection here. And the stages are really creative. Most of them are recycled from Tekken 3 and have had everything redone. The cool thing, they've added people to some of the backgrounds. They've added more textures. Things move more, just like the arcade in Tekken 3. They've done a lot here. And to get that many characters in the game and clean it up, it looks fantastic. Now, unfortunately, you cannot interact with the backgrounds yet. It plays just like Tekken 3, which is okay. It does look a little strange because the ground does not connect with the backgrounds. However, this allows the backgrounds to be better rendered and look overall better. It looks like a perfect version of Tekken 3. Now, there are some weird things with the graphics. Collision detection is there. However, some of the moves can look a little strange, especially Kuma. Some of the characters have some missing textures, like Ling Xiaoyu. This was before she was redesigned, so the older version of her looked more of that, like almost like a little Chinese girl. However, the rendered version of her in the game looks more like an anime version of her. It's really strange. And Heihachi, he just takes a lot of texture work, and they didn't quite get all the wrinkles on him, so he looks a little odd. Everything else in the game looks good, especially Prototype Jack. I was really impressed with Prototype Jack. The sound in this game is very well done. There's some things about it I liked and some things about it I didn't like. I wasn't a big fan of the soundtrack because these are all Tekken 3 stages for the most part, and I wanted to hear some of those soundtracks maybe remixed rather than bizarre techno versions of these songs. That's not to say that the music's bad. The closing credits are phenomenal. I love that song. I still listen to it. It would have been nice to see the characters get some more talking in there, since we've never really heard a character talk. However, they did do some nice things. For the Tekken 2 characters, they added a third grunt for each character, which was present in the arcade version. Thank you. And the hit sound effects sound like they're mixed a little better. You don't get the ability to listen to the arcade version of the song and get the rearranged version. I kind of missed that because the arcade did have its own flair to it. The theater mode is still there. All that stuff is still there. You can listen to the music there. The gameplay hasn't changed too much. It's the same modes as last year, except instead of Tekken Beach Volleyball mode, whatever that was, now they have Tekken Bowling. It's kind of a weird idea, but it is fun, and if you play as the Jack robots, you essentially can't lose. I actually found myself playing this quite a bit, and they threw in a little thing you could do with one of the characters in there, and I'm not going to say what it is. All I can say is go all the way to the right and roll the ball. You won't be disappointed. Much like the other Tekkens, you unlock the characters by beating the game one at a time. There is a special alternate way to unlock the other characters, and I'll expand on that later when I revamp the True Game Nerd TV cheat codes. The gameplay in this game is a little different than what I'm used to, because now you have the new tag system in it. The tag system where you switch characters now, so if you're getting beat up, you can switch characters and save the day. I don't know what to say about the tag feature. It feels like Tekken, and it works. It's smooth. There's really nothing negative to say about the tag system. I love it. And you can still go and play solo mode if you really want to play that old school feel. But then it kind of feels like Ultimate Tekken 3. Each character has had some new moves added to them. Armor King especially, some new throws. The moves are less overpowered. You do have a final boss known as Unknown in this game. It's basically Jun Kazama with a weird skin on her. She's not really cheap, however, she's very difficult to beat in solo mode. However, if you're Eddie and Tiger at the same time, you really won't struggle too hard in this. The endings are definitely unique in this one, because it's the first Tekken game to use the in-game renders for the endings. I don't know if they did this to save space. I actually don't know why they did this. But because the game characters look very well rendered, you do get some nice looking sequences. My only problem with this, it goes back to Tekken 1 to having the same music in every ending. No dialogue. I didn't see myself really working that hard to beat the game. I really didn't care. Because this game didn't really have a story or anything to keep me invested. That's not to say it wasn't fun, because I enjoyed it. But they could have put some more effort into the endings. They were disappointing, to say the least. The design of this game, there isn't much to say. It's Tekken 2 characters and Tekken 3. It's not wannabe edgy like the third one was. It kind of goes back to the Tekken 2 feel, but a little more futuristic. I don't mind that. I do, however, wish they could have put some Tekken 2 stages in there. I think it would have been really cool to see June stage or Devil stage or any of those stages redone with better textures, better backgrounds. Instead, I got a revamped Tekken 3 stage. Come on. They should have taken a note from Ultimate Mortal Kombat. Or better yet, Mortal Kombat Trilogy. That would have been cool. But I understand there's only so much you can fit into the game. Regardless, the design is what it is, and it works. Not my favorite, but it worked out. So I don't know what I think about Tekken Tag Tournament. Well, as a kid, this game was more phenomenal to me than it is now, but that's not to say that it's bad. It's still a great game. On the positive side, the graphics are just more than phenomenal in this game. They have more than improved it. They've gone over and above and beyond what I expected of them. Lots of variety for the characters, more than any other Tekken game. Sound is still well designed. Gameplay difficulty curve is fair. Really cool to see some of those retro characters brought back in. On the negative side, a lot of pieces of this game feel like an enhanced version of Tekken 3. The endings are a little bit lackluster compared to the other Tekkens. Would have been cool to see some of the Tekken 2 stages brought back if you're going to bring the characters back. Tekken Bowl, while fun, didn't really need to be there. So all in all, this used to be one of my favorite Tekken games. However, it's a little bit disappointing, not too much. I would give this game about an 8 out of 10. It's good, it's just not great.